Thanks for joining me again. Welcome back to another episode of Baking with Dan. I'm going to show you guys how to make a rosette swirl buttercream cake, and I'm using this cake right here for a smash cake. This is a really popular smash cake design, so let's get it. So I have 4 layers of cake, started out as 2 layers. I cut each one in half, filled them with buttercream, stacked them until they were level. I have a spatula, my turntable, a bowl scraper, and 2 18-inch disposable pastry bags fitted with open 1M star tips and 2 colors of buttercream. So you could do this rosette design with as many colors of buttercream as you want it. You could do them with all white buttercream, but I'm using 2 colors here. So before I pipe my rosettes onto my cake, I have to add a base color. And I'm adding a base color because if you see any spaces between my rosettes, you're going to want to see the color that the rosettes are. So I'm just going to give this cake a really quick frost with the colors of buttercream that I'll be using. And if you guys want the recipe for this buttercream that I'm using here, it's an American buttercream. If you want the recipe for the cake that I'm working with, you can check out my blog. The full recipes are on there. The blog is bakingwithdan.com. And yes, I'm Dan, if you guys didn't get that. All right, so this doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, I'm just giving myself a base to work with. So now I want this to be smooth, so I'll take my bowl scraper here. I'm going to use the 90-degree edge. I'm going to put it. So I'm holding the bench scraper, or bowl scraper rather, still. Just turning my turntable. So I want a nice straight edge on this cake. Good. All right, now I'm just going to clean up the top. This ring that formed here on the top, I want to use the flat edge of my bowl scraper. Just drag the frosting in. Good. And now I'll get eye level with my cake and just make sure that it's the same height all the way around. I see it's a little high right here. So I'll hit that spot again. Looks good. Okay, so now I can set my bowl scraper and my spatula aside. I'm going to pick up my pastry bags. I'm starting with purple on the bottom here. And I'm going to pipe rosettes all the way around. I'm going to go about 3 rosettes high, and then I'll pipe in. But I'm going to start on the sides and on the bottom. And there's a really important trick here, guys. So I'll place my piping bag straight up against my cake here, start piping a star, even pressure, go all the way around. And then instead of ending right here, I'm actually going to drag it out just a little bit and then let the pressure go. This way, I won't see the end of every rosette. The end of every rosette will be covered by the next one. So I want to make sure I hit the board each time. Once I get to my tail, I let the pressure go. Good. So now I'll start my second row, and I'm going to start my second row of rosettes in between 2 on the first row that I started. Same thing, let that tail go. This is all about filling in space here, guys. Once we finish this cake, we don't really want any huge spaces left. But if we do have some gaps, it's okay, because we started with that color coating. So the gaps won't be as noticeable. Okay, so now I'm up to my blue section. So I'm going to take my blue bag, clean off any crusty end if a little crust is formed, and same thing. All right, so now I'm at the top third, so I want my rosette to go all the way up to the top. So starting in the middle of where the blue is, between 2 rosettes, and then finish. All right, so pipe, hit my bottom purple row, up to the top. And if that happens, just scrape it off. All right. So now all I have to do is finish my top row, or finish the top of my cake. So I'm going to hold my bag straight up and down, all right, straight into the cake. My tip is never going to touch my cake, and I'm also going to start on the outside. All right, so I'll start with the ring on the outside, and I want my rosettes to match up right to the edge of the ones that I piped before. Same thing, I'll still get that little tail. And if you guys have never practiced this motion before, practice it on a piece of parchment paper. Practice it on a cutting board. Just practice piping as much as you need to. And when you've piped your full bag of buttercream, scrape the buttercream up and start again. Because you can always practice before you start your cake. All right? So now I have a middle circle here. I'm estimating that it's going to take about 4 to fill this. All right? So pipe. Now I'm going to finish all of my rosettes to the middle. Yep, so 2 more. I'll pipe them slightly smaller. And then 1 more, make sure I have enough icing in my bag here. I'm going to try and fill in this whole gap. Perfect. So you guys will see right here at the edge, I got pretty close to the bottom of the board. Any gaps aren't really going to stand out because there's purple buttercream under there, okay? Subscribe to Baking with Dan on YouTube. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it on Facebook. Check us out on bakingwithdan.com. Any comments or questions you guys have, put them below, and you'll find the links below to my recipe for buttercream and cake. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, stay sweet.